talk about engagement. That's what engagement is. Managed service provider, you are always on with your customers. It's not like you're selling them something, you're going away and offering them a break-fix support contract, and you only hear from them when something breaks and you have to go fix it. You're always on. You are their systems administrator of choice. Right? And one of the things that is happening in the managed services market, I will tell you, is getting more broad. Right? So kind of the foundation elements of most MSPs businesses is around device management, security management, or network management. One of those three legs, one of those three pillars. Most MSPs that I talked to today are going into mobile device management, are going into application management, or going into public cloud resources for their cloud net administration capability on behalf of their customers. So this notion of cloud brokerage, not here yet. I think it'll start to creep in this year in 2015. 2016 is going to be where we see the developer of really, I think, taking off. And it's actually being held back by the tech vendors, not having the full capability today from a technology perspective to dynamically migrate workloads of data from one type of cloud environment to another. It's relatively easy if you have a homogeneous cloud environment, but most customers that we talk to have two or more, if they're using public cloud services, have two or more public cloud providers. So they may be using Amazon and Microsoft, or they may be using Google and IBM, or they may be using, they may be using CenturyLink and Verizon. And by the way, they're combining that with their own private cloud, and they need to be able to move data and workloads back and forth on a dynamic basis. And they need a service provider to do that for them, and not only to do that for them, but provide that sort of brokerage capability to know when those workloads should be moved, right? So that's going to be a big business. It's one that's not even, folks like you have the ability to do today because of the immature technology, but it's coming and you need to keep an eye out for it. The VMO, the Vendor Management Office. So I mentioned this earlier, and this ties pretty closely with being a cloud economist. A lot of channel partners that I talk to, solution providers, say they represent the interests of the technology vendor, customers. If you have a VMO mindset, you're representing the interests of customers to the tech vendors, right? It's very different. Now, a good number of large enterprise companies have a VMO. They have a vendor management office, which is all about that, managing vendors. But this is becoming critical for a couple of reasons. First of all, you get past the Fortune 500, and there aren't a lot of companies that have a VMO, and yet they need that sort of capability. They want that sort of capability, particularly in this era of cloud, right? Because there's new things they have to understand. What sort of SLAs they have? Are the vendors complying with SLA? If not, is there any remuneration back due to us? Should we be? What is our business intelligence reports about all of our cloud solution providers look like? You got to think of yourselves as bankers, for goodness sake. So investment bankers. So you may have an investment portfolio. That's what you guys are doing. You're managing a customer's investment portfolio, or technology investment portfolio. Just like you can log into your bank on an on-demand basis and see the status of your investment portfolio. Mine looks pretty bad. Your customers should be able to get into that same sort of BI capability from you as a VMO to provide that sort of intelligence about their vendor providers and about your services to them. So, I'll give you three example business models that I've seen kind of emerging in this move towards hybrid from VAR. One is what we call a super MSP. So they started out as a VAR, value-added reseller. They added their added managed service provider. Now they're going broadline with that. So they maybe started with device management. Now they're moving to mobile device management, security management, contact center management. So they're extending their managed services line, a number of things and applications they can actually manage. And then cloud infrastructure service provider, or MSP. Another one is called the business technology solution provider. So these are the guys that I see making the investments to be able to sell effectively to that line of business decision making. It started out as VARs. Where are they stacking up? Both in terms of business consultants, really to have meaningful conversations about the customer with respect to what's going on in the healthcare industry or the retail industry. And then developers can support that as well. And the third one is what we call the meta cloud solution provider. So this is where I think the vendor management office comes into play a lot, because they're representing a lot of different types of cloud solutions: cloud infrastructure, cloud hosting, cloud software, and really providing that brokerage and VMO service. So three kind of primary business models evolving. So I want to end with give you some ideas about how you get from where you are or where you may be now to where you might want to go. One of the things I hear from folks like yourselves and tech vendors like Avaya is that, customer buying profiles are changing. What do we need to do? So I'll give you 3 tips on that. One is get vertical, right? Get vertical. You need to have intelligent conversations about retail or about healthcare or about financial services or about medical technology. You're going to be selling more and more to the business decision maker. Those are the things that he or she is going to relate to. Or horizontal, right? Maybe you're going to sell to HR. And I've talked with some of my colleagues about mobility and contact center technology. One of the value propositions behind those types of technologies is boosting employee productivity. And yet I can't find a channel partner that talks to the VP of HR and sells them. Moreover, I can't find a tech vendor that really has an initiative around educating the VP of HR. And I think that's one thing that's missing. But it's certainly good to become more influential, because the first one that does, the first one that engages that business decision maker is going to have that stopping card. And that business decision maker will play that stopping card on your competitors on your behalf. New enablement training programs. So Avaya, I think, announced a lot of new programs they're going to do for you. New incentive programs. I think they also announced new incentive programs. Again, this is something that I haven't seen from tech vendors. Tech vendor, if you're asking me, if you're telling me I need to engage the business decision maker, give me some sort of points or credits for engaging and selling to them. Sometimes tech vendors will have incentive programs around selling into markets. So they'll be in the United States and they'll want to go into South America, for example. So any new customer logo that comes from South America gets additional discount rebate points. This sort of thing goes for decision makers. So ask your vendors, say, this is what you want me to do. Give me not only an enablement program to be able to do it, give me the incentive programs to compensate. I oftentimes hear this, also, although less than I did a couple of years ago, but subscription revenue models really upset our cash flow. Right? We can't. I do a 3-year cloud deal. It's nice with an annuity revenue stream for that, but I've got to pay my salespeople commissions all up front. Right? So you really need to think about new kind of economic models, do some economic engineering in collaboration with your tech vendors. One of the things I've found that's been pretty successful in a number of businesses is factoring. Right? If you know the concept of factor is a third party that buys up the accounts receivable of a business, and they get really tight on cash. They just need cash. And so for 85 cents on the dollar, they'll buy up the accounts receivable. The business gets all the cash up front. It's really prevalent in small to medium business. Same sort of thing. I've seen some tech vendors say, you sign a 3-year deal, we're going to give you all of it or some portion of up front, so you can pay your sales force, your sales force commissions. We'll actually act as your factor. Now I also hear, the issue about not having the right skills, right? So one of the things you can do is consider an intern program. I mean, there's tons of university graduates coming out now that don't know what they're going to do with their career. And even though they may not have a marketing degree or a business degree, I'll guarantee you that a ton of them have capabilities to help you in terms of marketing and selling in this new age of cloud. The other one about hooking up, I wanted to point this out to you. So this is kind of the vendor perspective of their go-to-market model, right? So they have lots of different channels. And like I said, a lot of these different types of channels are actually now co-mingling. I talked about the hybrid solution provider model. But here's really how the channel operates. Right? It is truly a network. And I'm seeing companies of different types, start working with your peers, so you don't have those business skills, but you've got a big healthcare deal on the line. You can engage with someone who has a lot of healthcare skills. I see this kind of happening on an accidental basis. I think in the future it will happen on a more planned, more intentful basis going forward. So with that, I didn't run 1 hour over. I ran 2 minutes and 43 seconds over. Not bad. I didn't even have a beer. So thank you very much. Is there a closing? Did I do the close? Hello? Are you closing?
Am I buzzing you?
No, you're closing.
I'm closing you, yes, you correct.
Thank you very much, guys.